Alright, so let's just understand that why do we need a code splitting inside a React application. So let me tell you a little bit about that how React works. So if we come over here inside the project, right, and let me inspect element, and inside the network tab, let me refresh it again. Then whatever we will run, we will write inside our src folder. If we are creating a functions, we are writing functions, or we are writing any kind of functions or any context API or whatever we are doing inside the React application, it will be available inside this bundle.js. So basically what React will do, React will compile everything inside this bundle.js, right? So let's suppose right now I do have only 3 routes over here along with 3 components, right? And then you can see that it has made a lot of bigger file for just 3 components, because it is React is adding a lot of different things as well to make it working. So this is why we do need a code splitting in our React application. So what will code split do? It will split the your component from this bundle.js, and it will import the new file, or it will load the or and download the file of that component at the time of the render of that component. So let me show you. Well, basically whenever you want to implement the code splitting in your React application, then there are some steps to follow. First, we need to import the lazy component. Well, basically lazy function allow us to dynamically import the any component inside our React application, right? And then what we will do, we will wrap that component inside the suspense element. So what this suspense element will do, it will show a fallback UI at the time of the component, or at the time of that the browser is loading your component file, or you can say the React is loading your component file. So you at that time you can show a kind of fallback UI, like loading any kind of loader to your screen, right? So let's just implement it. We const I need to wrap create the lazy loading component for all these 3 components. So for that, what I will do, dashboard equal to, and then we will import the lazy function, and inside this lazy function it takes a callback, and inside this callback we can define import and then our path to the components dashboard, right? So this is it. Let's do the same for order as well. Alright, so let's just comment it out, and then our first step is done. It is time to implement the second step. Well, now because we are writing a lazy loading logic on our routes, then what we can do, we can wrap all these things, all the routes, inside the suspense component like this, and then we can define a fallback UI using the fallback props. You can define any component over here, or if you want you can write the loading. Well, although I would not suggest to like this. I would say to create a proper loader component and then import the loader component, define that loader component over here, right? But now we are just testing the things. So now let me refresh the page. Then you can see that it has created a separate file for our dashboard component using the src underscore components underscore dashboard underscore js dot chunk.js. So in this file we have everything which we have included inside our dashboard component. Also, why the code is looking like this, because whenever at the compile time, Webpack will convert all the your React application to the JavaScript, and the code looks something like this after that. Okay, so if we look at the name, then this name is not looking good at all, right? So we do have an option to change the name as well for a better understanding or better readability. Then we can do something like this. Let's just copy this. We do have a webpack chunk name, right? And what we can do, we can define it before the path like this, and inside this, what we can do, we can say, let's suppose dashboard, and let's do the same for the other. Login and orders. So let me refresh it. Then you can see that now it is showing us dashboard.chunk.js. So this is how you can implement lazy loading, or you can say code splitting inside your React application. So for example, let's suppose you do have hundreds of components inside your React application, then your bundle.js will become a very large. Although React is very fast, to be very honest, React is very fast thanks to its virtual DOM. I will create a new video on the virtual DOM, and I will explain everything, then what is virtual DOM and how it works in React. So but it is a good practice to implement the code splitting, and it is a good practice to implement the code splitting on the routing. So what it will React will do, React will create a separate file, or it will load a separate file for every route, right? So I will see you in the next video. Have a nice day.